I can't lie, this was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. I can't believe this atrocious and belittling piece of embarrassing material exists and that my eyes lay upon this disgusting and vomit-inducing media that was this movie. Oh, sorry, that was the script for Fanfortastic. Welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about the very, very highly anticipated Deadpool and Wolverine, aka Deadpool and Friend, aka Deadpool 3 2024, directed by Sean Levi. And well, this film follows... Wait, do I need to tell you what this film follows? Come on, it's pretty straightforward. It's Deadpool and Wolverine fucking shit up. And man, was this a fun time. I had a blast in the movies, but did it live up to the hype? Or is the multiverse saga still haunting Marvel movies? Well, yes and yes. More on that in a bit though. This film was incredibly fun, but obviously it's not without its issues. So before you start hating on me, I gotta talk about this type of stuff for a little bit. While this film had some pretty hilarious moments like comic accurate height Wolverine, or literally anytime Wade and Logan get into a fight, the comedy lacked in comparison to the last two films, in my opinion. That's not really a bad thing. I just think because of this film and the type of film that we're watching, we're very accustomed to the humor of Deadpool and specifically Ryan Reynolds and what he brings to the table. And with the last two films, it almost felt like it was a surprise, like, oh, what is he gonna say? What can he make a reference to? And with this, I think there was this preconceived notion of things that he would talk about, and it goes exactly the way you expect it. And like I said, that's not a bad thing. The film is still funny in its own right, and objectively speaking, the film lacked in terms of its narrative. The narrative in this film was a lot more all over the place and a lot more loose in comparison to the other two films, which were more concentrated and had a centralized story. But I think that was to be expected with something like this. You know, this is honestly just a buddy cop, right? It's a multiverse story where our two leads just kind of go and mess with shit and fuck shit up, and that's kind of what we were expecting. And it's not terrible, but the other two films definitely had a stronger heart in terms of where the film really lies on, especially the second one with Russell and his whole dynamic with Wade. I think this film didn't necessarily have something as strong akin to that. But with that being said, this film is so fun that you just can't go and not have a good time. But with a cast this fucking big, how do you not go and have a good time? Obviously, Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool and Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. There's nothing I can say about this that hasn't already been said about these two as individual characters. But Jesus Christ, together, they are amazing. Obviously, they showed up together in X-Men Origins Wolverine, but well, you know, we know how that film is. But in this, their chemistry is off the charts. After seeing this, all I want to see is just them. I've been watching so many press interviews of just Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman talking about this film, and it's just as good as the film itself, and it makes me want more of just these two characters going around and fucking shit up. It's just so fun, and they are so fun on screen together, whether it's them getting along, which is not most of the film, them fighting, or them doing both. It is so great. You just want it more. And you want to see Deadpool. I think everybody wants Deadpool 4 at this point. After seeing these two together, who doesn't? But that's also 90% of the film, which is not a bad thing, because 90% of the film is just these two characters with sometimes secondary characters, but mostly these two. And that's great. It's fun. It's funny. I love it. But speaking of characters, there's a lot of them. Mostly cameos. Mostly deep cuts, so if you're not a die-hard Marvel fan who grew up especially in the 2000s, you're not gonna get a lot of this shit. Henry Cavill had a great bit as Wolverine, and it was a lot of fun, and it was a great nod to a fan cast that will probably never happen because he is too big, too strong, and not comic book accurate height. Chris Evans was really funny as Johnny, and it was great to see him enjoy this role, and you could tell that he was having a lot of fun with this. Daphne Keane was pretty good at X-23. You know, she is the character, but I think her role in this kind of gets overshadowed by some of the other bigger characters that show up in this. Still, with that being said, did a great job. Jennifer Garner as Elektra was probably the most predictable one to show up in this film. This is a rumor that's been around for a while. Not that she did a bad job or anything. You know, she did her thing. They finally put Tatum as Gambit. Oh my gosh. If you guys don't know what that's about, basically Channing Tatum has been wanting to play Gambit for forever, He never got the chance to, and he made him really sad. But I'm glad that he's here. He has a really funny accent. He's just speaking gibberish half the time, but it kind of works. His powers are very comic book accurate, as well as his suit. It's awesome. And the one that really threw me a loop, Wesley Snipes returning as Blade. Holy shit, I love Blade. But wow, seeing him come back after everything that happened in Blade 3 was kind of surprising. I'll just do a quick TLDR. Basically, him and Ryan Reynolds, they don't like each other. Wesley Snipes was kind of a bit of a diva. There's a scene where they have to CGI his eyes because he refused to open them. Yeah, it's a whole thing. But seeing him come back in this capacity was huge. And I'm really surprised that him and Ryan Reynolds actually made this work. It makes me wonder, maybe he'll show up again in the future. I mean, like he said in the film, he's the one and only Blade. And probably will ever be. And of course, I can't forget about my boy Happy Hogan. He has a small appearance at the beginning of the film. Really funny as always. Jon Favreau always kills it in the role. Always funny without even trying to be funny. I would love to see him meet Wolverine. I think he would really like him. Wow. Okay, that was a lot of cameos. A lot of characters in this film. And with all those characters, I'm surprised they pulled off the things that they did. It really did feel like each character had at least their moments, at least a couple minutes of screen time where they could show off who they are, what they're about. And I really appreciate the film for doing that and kind of allowing these actors and these characters to flourish in this film that is so packed with so many things. It felt really nice, and it obviously makes this universe feel very expansive because these are a lot of characters that we haven't seen for 10-20 years. So that was a really, really nice touch. And speaking of universes, I'm glad they acknowledged the failing multiverse. It's kind of ironic that they're talking shit about the multiverse saga while this is also a film about the multiverse. And honestly, you can definitely tell that this relatively messy narrative feels like something that Marvel put into Deadpool 3 because out of necessity for the state of MCU. And I'm glad that Sean Levi did it in good humor and he was able to pull it off while telling a mostly narratively complete story. And of course, the action in this film is probably some of the best we've seen in the whole franchise, and each and every fight feels unique to its own style and what they're trying to accomplish in that moment in time. For me, at least, there was 3 films that especially stood out that I was like, holy shit, this blows my mind. Obviously, the opening sequence with Wade using Logan's like adamantium body to kill all the TVA agents, and wow, there was a lot of TVA agents. Like, they sent a lot. Then we have the fight between them and the car. Why did they mess up the car so bad? I don't understand. They fucked this shit up for no reason. Still, great fight scene. It was a bloody mess at the end. I loved all of it. And finally, Deadpool and Wolverine against the Deadpool Corps. It felt like something straight out of the comics. I loved it. It was shot like a one take, and even though it was shot like a one take, it still felt like you knew what each character was doing every second of the frame, and it was so well choreographed. And obviously, since all the Deadpools have this regenerative ability, there's only one way to end the fights: with Peter. Yep, if you were expecting Peter to show up, well, thankfully for you, he does show up in a Deadpool costume. And how does the fight specifically end? Well, they all go, hey, Peter is in every Deadpool universe. He's awesome. Let's not fight this Deadpool. I loved it. So funny. Such a genius way of ending a fight against characters who really can't die. And can I just say that Peter was the best part of this film, and I don't want anybody to tell you anything otherwise. I need Deadpool 4 to be called Deadpool, Wolverine, and Peter, or just Peter the movie. That's it. That was Deadpool and Wolverine 2024. And like I said, this film really isn't all that complex. It's mostly Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman going around, messing with stuff, messing with people, getting into a lot of trouble, and ruining cars that have no reason to be ruined. But that's all I need to be satisfied in life. If you haven't watched it already, go check it out. Go do yourself a favor and watch it in theaters, because this is such a funny theater experience. Especially, like I said, if you're a diehard Marvel fan and you've been with the franchise since pre-MCU. If you've been with the franchise since, I don't know, the X-Men movies, Blade, that era, then wow, you're gonna have a blast. I don't know, man. You know who Deadpool is and what he does. But thank you, and thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch me talk about these two leads fuck shit up. Until next time, see you, Space Cowboys. I'm gonna go get shawarma or something. Why are you still here? The video's over, man. Oh my god. So, you're just not gonna... Just gonna stay there? Oh my god. It's been such a long day. Okay, look. So what if I clickbaited you? So what? It doesn't fucking matter, does it? You still watch the video? God. Just get over it, man. I was talking about Fanfourtastic. Can a man not talk about Fanfourtastic? You know I like this film. Get out of here. Go get some shawarma. I'm gonna go get some.